In the bustling metropolis of Viridian City, renowned for its gleaming towers and cutthroat finance, lived a woman who was a walking paradox. Her name was Amara Thorne, a 38-year-old financial titan who, despite her formidable reputation, preferred to remain invisible. She was a master of strategy, a brilliant mind that moved markets from the shadows. Her power wasn't in flashy suits or designer labels, but in the quiet confidence of her gray cashmere sweater and practical slacks. Amara was en route to a critical meeting, a meeting that had the power to reshape the fate of Aurora Star Airlines. As a significant individual shareholder, she was deeply concerned about the company's spiraling customer satisfaction scores. Her proposed solution, a mystery passenger program, had been approved by the board, but Amara had taken it one step further. She would be the first mystery passenger herself, a fly on the wall, observing the cracks in the airline's foundation firsthand. Her journey was a meticulously planned reconnaissance mission, a test of the very system she aimed to fix. Her first encounter with the airline's flawed system came at the premium check-in counter. An agent, Lila, with a bored expression, barely glanced at Amara's first-class ticket. Her fingers danced across the keyboard, a clear signal of her indifference. Amara, ever the observer, filed this away. The next point of failure was the exclusive premium lounge, once a beacon of luxury, now a ghost of its former self. Amara, armed with her boarding pass, noted the stark contrast between the lounge's apathetic service and its supposed prestige. A server fussed over a group of well-heeled travelers, completely ignoring others. Amara made a mental note. Unequal service, understaffed, favoritism. She was gathering data, building her case one observation at a time. But the true test came at the boarding gate. A blonde gate agent, Serafina, was already engaged in a tense exchange with a couple. She then ignored Amara, allowing a smartly dressed man to cut in front of her. When Amara finally presented her first-class ticket, Serafina's eyes, filled with a frosty skepticism, swept over her simple attire. "First class?" she asked, her voice dripping with disbelief. Amara, her calm demeanor a mask for the fire within, simply nodded. "Yes, my ticket clearly states seat 2. Serafina's expression hardened. "Ma'am, please step aside. We need to verify your ticket." She then waved on several other well-dressed passengers without a second glance. The message was unmistakable. Amara didn't fit the premium aesthetic. The indignity of the situation grew. Another flight attendant, Vivian, joined Serafina, her demeanor equally dismissive. "Ma'am, please wait outside the boarding area," Vivian said, her grip on Amara's arm firm. "We need to avoid disruptions." Amara, a woman who held a significant stake in this company, was being asked to wait outside like a nuisance. The irony was not lost on her. Instead of creating a scene, she maintained her composure, calculated move. "Understand," she said, her voice a quiet steel. "But before I go, I'd like your employee numbers." The flight attendant's smug smiles faltered. This wasn't the reaction they expected. Amara, phone in hand, calmly documented their employee numbers. After a tense wait, she was handed a new boarding pass, an economy seat in the cramped middle of row 23. She accepted it without protest, a subtle smile playing on her lips. This wasn't a setback, it was ammunition. From her cramped economy seat, Amara's mind began to race. She pulled out her laptop, her fingers flying across the keyboard. She wasn't just a passenger, she was an investigator. She opened a secure file, a dossier she had been building for months, filled with a torrent of customer complaints and internal memos. Her suspicions were confirmed. The plummeting customer satisfaction scores were not a coincidence. They were the direct result of a discriminatory policy spearheaded by the airline's new head of customer experience, Diana Winters. Winters had a directive to prioritize passengers who fit a certain aesthetic, an unspoken policy that led to the systemic mistreatment of anyone who didn't fit the mold that Amara's findings were damning. She compiled a detailed report of her experience, attached the original boarding pass, and the employee numbers. A new email from her assistant, Marcus, arrived, containing compiled statement from 17 former Aurora Star employees, all echoing the same disturbing pattern. Profiling, discrimination, and explicit instructions to upsell or reseat passengers who didn't conform to the company's premium image. This wasn't an isolated incident. It was a systemic rot. Amara crafted 3 emails. One to her legal team. Prepare the injunction documents based on Section 7.3. Be ready for tomorrow. One to her media contacts. A statement will be ready at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Stand by. And one to the Aurora Star Board Secretary. I am formally invoking my right to speak for the first 20 minutes of tomorrow's meeting. This is not negotiable. The next morning, Amara arrived at the sleek corporate headquarters of Aurora Star Airlines. She was no longer the anonymous woman in a gray sweater. She was a force of nature in a tailored suit, her demeanor radiating a quiet authority that commanded attention. The boardroom was a tableau of corporate power, a collection of executives, including the CEO, Harrison Wells, and the architect of the discrimination, Diana Winters. The air was thick with tension and whispered curiosity. When Amara entered, wearing the very same gray sweater and slacks from her flight, a collective gasp rippled through the room. "Thank you, Chairman Davis," she began, her voice calm and measured. "Before I start my presentation, I have a question for Ms. Winters. Does your new premium strategy include instructing your staff to discriminate against passengers based on their appearance?" Winters' face went white. She stammered a denial, but Amara was already in control. With a click of a remote, a video appeared on the massive screen behind her. It was the viral video of her own confrontation at the boarding gate, the clear evidence of her being told to wait outside. "This," Amara said, her voice now sharp and cold, "is what happens to customers who don't fit your premium aesthetic." The screen then split into a montage of other similar videos, all showing passengers being treated with disdain, denied service, or reseated. 43 documented cases in the last quarter alone, Amara stated, all following Ms. Winters' directive. She then projected an internal email from Winters, explicitly stating her discriminatory policy. The room went silent. "This," Amara declared, "violates not only our ethical clause but also federal aviation regulations." She laid out her case, methodically dismantling the defense, and presented her solution. "I'm invoking Section 7.3 of our shareholder agreement. I'm calling for the immediate removal of Diana Winters and the implementation of comprehensive anti-discrimination measures." The CEO, Harrison Wells, looked panicked. "Perhaps we should discuss this in private." "No," Amara said firmly. "There will be no more hiding. This company has systematically discriminated against its passengers, and it ends today." She had done her homework. Her legal team had already secured the support of other shareholders, giving her more than enough votes to force the change. The viral video of her experience had already caused a stock price dip, and the threat of a class action lawsuit loomed large. The board, faced with irrefutable evidence and the looming threat of public disgrace, had no choice but to comply. A week later, Amara stood at an Aurora Star Airlines gate, a new woman in a new era. The changes were already tangible: diverse staff, new customer rights signage, and a palpably different atmosphere. She spotted Serafina, the gate agent from her flight, now working in economy, her expression a mix of shame and recognition. Amara simply gave a polite nod and continued on her way. As she settled into her first-class seat, a new crew member greeted her with genuine warmth and respect. Amara smiled, looking out the window at the cityscape below. She hadn't sought to destroy the company, but to reform it. She had taught them a valuable lesson. True power wasn't about flaunting your status, but in knowing exactly when and how to use it. Her gray sweater was a silent reminder to all that respect should never be based on appearances.